Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always, told out of Voice of Radio. So today, I want to talk about a Boltund card. Now, I know, we have talked about a Boltund card. It wasn't that long ago that we did, in fact, talk about a Boltund card. But you see, ladies and gentlemen, this is a different Boltund card. This is not the same one we looked at before. The one we looked at before is from the Sword and Shield set proper. It is the one that for a lightning and 2 colorless energy does 180 damage against a Pokemon V or a Pokemon GX. And of course, the real kind of hook for that one is that it's the first card we've seen so far that actually was Pokemon V hate. We've seen plenty of Pokemon GX hate, Tag Team hate, etc. But it was the first one that actively hated Pokemon V. That's not the one we're talking about today, ladies and gentlemen. The one we're talking about today is in the V Dex. And it's also kind of cool. Now, it's got 120 HP, which is actually a tiny bit lower than the other one, which could make a difference. I mean, if you think something like Silver Ally GX does a natural 120, having 120 HP rather than 130 actually kind of sucks. Yeah, they can use a Vitality Band to do the extra 10 damage, but wouldn't it be lovely if they didn't have to? For them, not for you. Now, the retreat cost here is free, rather than a retreat cost of 1 for the other one. And I'll be honest with you, right, if you're going to give me free retreat, I will accept 10 less HP. I'd rather have 130 and free retreat, but that's not on offer here. So who cares? And of course, we've got a weakness to fighting. Weakness to fighting with stuff like Morpeko V rule in the format. Not a great weakness to have, unfortunately. Though you are a lightning type, which means you get access to Electro Power to do extra damage, Thunder Mountain to reduce your attack cost, Tapu Koko Prism Star to accelerate a little bit of energy, and then stuff like Tapu Koko V to act as other attackers. Yeah, we've got some love around for lightning Pokemon right now. Now, our translation here, as they tend to do lately, comes from the lovely David Hockman over at limitlesstcg.com/translations, and we don't actually need a translation for the first attack. There ain't no words, ladies and gentlemen. What we have is a nice simple 2 energy, 50 damage. No. And look, I mean, you can't actually use Thunder Mountain Prism Star here, because Thunder Mountain Prism Star demands that you have a lightning energy cost in the attack, but even bearing that in mind, no. I mean, Tapu Koko you could use here, but I rather think we've got better options for using Tapu Koko Prism Star. Double colorless energy has rotated. You can use triple acceleration energy, but again, do you really want to? Like, is this the best use for it? Yeah, fine, you'll get Ditto Prism Star and you'll get Snom. But honestly, no. Let's not worry too much about this, ladies and gentlemen. I just don't think it's a good attack. But the second attack, I've got quite a bit of time for the second attack. 2 lightning, 1 colorless energy, 160 damage. This Pokemon cannot attack during your next turn. Oh. Yeah, this we're kind of all in on, ladies and gentlemen. This we are totally all in on. Now, just quickly, the cannot attack next turn, nobody cares. Volcanion couldn't attack next turn, that was fine. Buzzwole couldn't attack next turn, that was fine. Ho-Oh couldn't attack next turn, that was fine. Lapras couldn't, you see where I'm going with this, it's really not a big problem. But, you see, Zeraora also couldn't attack next turn. And firstly, that wasn't a problem, and secondly, this has Zeraora's attack. Like, this attack is literally Zeraora's attack. 2 lightning, 1 colorless energy, 160 damage. This Pokemon can't attack during your next turn. And if I remember correctly, Zeraora is a very good Pokemon that saw a lot of play. Now, full disclosure, Zeraora does not just have this attack. Zeraora also has a really nice ability that gives each of your Pokemon with lightning energy attached free retreat, which Boltund does not have. Though Boltund itself does actually have free retreat, which, I mean, it's fair to say that helps us out at the beginning here. And Zeraora did also have a really nice GX attack that allowed you to grab 5 energy, basic energy from your discard pile and attach them to your Pokemon in any way that you like. It was a good card. And we played it for all the reason. Now, the GX attack saw very little play, purely because when you've got stuff like Pikachu and Zekrom, I mean, that's got a really over-the-top GX attack. Yeah, it's for 6 energy, but firstly, you can accelerate energy to yourself using full Blitz, and secondly, Tag Bolt does 200 damage for 3 energy, but with 6 energy, 200 to the active, 170 to the bench, enough to KO something like a Dedenne, yeah, we're kind of all in. So it was really just the ability and the attack. And in recent times, Zeraora has been our lightning Pokemon for free energy that doesn't give up free prizes. Now, the free energy here is actually incredibly relevant because that means Thunder Mountain Prism Star, Tapu Koko Prism Star, energy from your hand, and you get it going in 1 turn. That is less important for a stage 1, because you've got that extra turn to attach manually, but it still means you can get it going in a single turn, which is not always the case. So we like this. This is nice. And if we're looking at pure amount of energy done, Pikachu and Zekrom for the same cost does 150. Although, because you've got a colourless energy in your attack cost here, you could, for instance, use something like Counter Gain if you were behind on prizes, so you can actually use Tapu Koko, Counter Gain Thunder Mountain, and not even use your attachment for the turn when getting this rolling. That can be pretty relevant. And something like Raichu and Alolan Raichu did hit 160 if you became active this turn. Now, it also did paralysis in the same way that Pikachu and Zekrom also accelerated free energy from the deck. But if we're looking at pure damage here, this is as much as Zeraora. This is as much as Raichu and Alolan Raichu, but it's on a single prize Pokemon. And we don't really have that here. Yeah, it's a stage 1 and that's a pain, but we've not had this kind of damage on a single prize Pokemon. We've been using stuff like Zapdos. Now, I know Zapdos is a basic. I get that entirely. But Zapdos, you're doing 80 for 1 energy. And okay, it's for 1 energy, but wouldn't you rather be doing 160? Because personally, I would rather be doing 160. Now, the one thing we do need to mention here is that since we started playing all of those things, we have seen Tapu Koko V. And the thing with Tapu Koko V is that it does, for the same energy cost, 200 damage, which is just flat out better than the others. And it's got free retreat, and it's actually got a really nice first attack, 1 lightning energy, 20 damage, draw 2 cards. But again, Tapu Koko V is a 2 prize Pokemon. Now, in terms of the damage here, 160 is good. 160 gets Dedenne, 160 gets Jirachi, they see quite a lot of play. And then you can keep going. So if you get a Vitality Band on there, lets you do an extra 10 damage, then all of a sudden that gets your 1-hit KO on Keldeo GX, which is a decent Pokemon. Likely to see less play, unfortunately, when we go to more Pokemon V, less Pokemon GX, but alright. How about more Pico V, which comes in at a fairly low 170, but is also a Pokemon which sees a huge amount of play. Yeah, that's pretty good. And then, of course, let's not forget we've got Electro Power. So now, all of a sudden, let's say you add 2 Electro Power, then you're doing 220, and that's a KO on a Zacian V. And yes, I know that it's 2 Electro Power, but that's 2 prizes off one of the best Pokemon in the game when you're a single prize Pokemon. And don't be sleeping on the fact that this has got free retreat. That really, really helps. It means after a KO, you've got an option for something to chuck active. It means if your opponent forces you to switch, you can put up Boltund knowing that it can free retreat if it's not KO'd. This is a good Pokemon. I don't think it's one around which you build a deck, because Lightning decks, unless you're using full Blitz, which is still a good attack, your general rule is here that you've got that kind of 1 turn of Thunder Mountain Tapu Koko, and it gets a bit more awkward from there. So you could play this as its own deck, but the energy acceleration would become slightly annoying. What is far more likely here is that this will go into a deck that doesn't mind playing the lightning stuff, or that goes in a GX or Pokemon V focused lightning deck as a non-GX attacker, And in that regard, it's actually really, really good. So I'm giving it between 3 and 4 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies. That would be barbaric. There is an awful lot to like about this. It is, as far as lightning non-GX attackers go, it is one of the very best we've got. And that makes me rather delighted indeed. And just so we're clear, there is nothing to stop you playing one of the ones from the Sword and Shield set proper, for if you come up against a Pokemon V or GX, and then playing this to take down non-V, non-GX Pokemon. Bearing in mind that single prize Pokemon with more than 160 HP, there are some of them out there, but they are few and far between, and they really do not see a lot of play. I think this is a good Pokemon that we're going to see popping up in Lightning decks. It works pretty gosh darn nicely. But I'd like to know what you think, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do go and take a gander at youtube.com/WassiePlays, where you can learn about a whole bunch of games that don't have Pokemon in, but are still pretty gosh darned awesome. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.